So in this video, we're going to talk about adding transitions to an existing image. So far in this panel, I've added another text bubble here. So and also it's the exact same settings for duration and transition. So it's a 0.5 second fade in, 0 opacity to 100% opacity, ease in and out. So they both appear after each other in 0.5 second fade in. This one fades in first, and then this one here. Let's preview the. So that gives the people enough time to see which one came up first and which came up second. So what we want to do now is actually, I'll show you the what we're trying to achieve here. So these two come in, these two speech balloons come in, and then the camera switches to this panel here, and then the text comes in after the move. So what we want to do, if we go back to the layer palette, is move this layer across to the other panel, which is on the other side. So what we have to do is, if you can see that, is you click on that layer, it opens up the layer editing, and we make sure the transitions are set. So you can see I didn't set it. The reason for setting it again was to prevent it from being moved accidentally. But it also, if you lock both the start and end, if you saw that, the add transition button appears, and what that means, you can add another move to it, and that added move, added layer action goes on top of the entire the topmost of the layer stack. So add transition, automatically a new layer editing window opens up, and it's a number 5. So if I close this layer edit, you can see that number 5 is right at the top, even though there's two action layers of the layer actions. They're actions that apply to the same image. So I'm going to click number 5 and move the, I'm just going to move the canvas up a bit here, move the image over to the right. Again, if you see that the edge of the canvas is this gray line, and beyond that is a black alpha mask. So I'm going to move it and just center it as, just eyeball it. But the height is exactly the same, so we don't have to adjust the scale. It's just a straight move. So if you go back to the transition settings here, you can see the start is actually grayed out, because that is, the start is actually the end of the end transition of the what is it, layer action number 1. So we can't set the start because that's continuing from a previous layer. What we can do is set the end, which is by just moving it. We don't want to adjust the opacity, so I think we're good to go. All we have to do is set the duration of the move. I'm going to put in 0.5, but you can do whatever value you want. And I'm going to prefer the ease in and out. All right. So let's see how that works. Great. What we want to do next is actually move the black cropping as well. So even though it looks like the this layer here is below this layer, because this layer action is applying to a layer underneath the black cropping, it would always remain there. So these are the originating layers of the image, and then these are the added transitions of that layer. So what we want to do is move the black crop as well. So I'm going to set the start and set the end, and then you see the add transition button, add that, can see that the added transition is number 6. Before it was 5 was at the top. Now it's number 6, and you see that it's still retaining the same dimensions that was from the last panel. So what you want to do is actually increase the width. Actually, what I'm doing is actually increasing proportionally the width and the height, but it doesn't matter as long as the height is beyond the borders of the canvas. We're good. So it's pretty close. I'm gonna reduce the width by clicking on the. I think I did it too much. I can always check it by moving this layer up and checking the notches there. That's pretty good. Okay, so I'll move it into place, and again I'm going to give it a 0.5 duration and a negative 0.5 delay, so that it happens within that move of the image layer below. I'm gonna go ease in and out. Let's take a preview. That looks pretty good. Now you can see that it just went from those two texts to this one. So I guess in the next video we're gonna have to talk about putting in a weight. So that's the transitions, and as far as transitions go, you can just keep on going as long as you set the start and end. This transitions will keep on popping up, and you can move it infinitely forever. Actually, I'm going to talk about transition weight in this video, because it's pretty straightforward. So if you look at our layer stack here, so we have the image moving along with the black crop. Two text balloons come up, and then we should actually weight it at the end of the second text bubble so that people have a time to read it. So I'm going to click on that layer, and now down at the bottom you'll see a weight option, and meaning a next button will come up. That blue button will come up when I click that, and it won't move forward until I click it, and then it will go to the actions above that. So let's preview that. You see the button comes up, click it, goes to the next action.